DeAndre Rudis, present.
Arayla Karen Winters, present.
Okay, we have three of the three. That's 100% quorum. And I must tell you, this group is outstanding because we've never missed a meeting. So that being stated, the quorum has been established. We're going to start our particular meeting. All right, let me first of all thank the 15th District, Commander Morris, Sergeant Brown, and all of the cohorts, Brother Sabu and Brother, is it Hara down there? Pillar? Okay, you got it. I'm sorry, I thought I saw, oh, that's, are you Brother Hara?
I am from Commonwealth.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for hosting us. Thank you for hosting the community. And let me thank you, the community, for coming out and reading your Chicago Police Department. Let's give each other a round of applause. Okay, that being said, Karen is going to be taking it from here.
Okay. So we did roll call. So now at this time, you see on your agenda, we can open it for public comment. You have 2 minutes if you want to make a comment. It could be in regards to something on the agenda or anything in general you would like us to know, especially if it could be specific to our district council work. Or so, anybody have a comment?
Don't be bashful.
Nope. Going what? Okay. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Graham. Ooh, that's a big question.
Well, if I might, Ms. Graham, I will tell you that I definitely see the potential. You have 66 people, actually 65 that were elected and one that may have been appointed, that came together and did not know each other prior to this opportunity, this space, this call for this work to be done in this space. And we have learned a lot about not only each other but ourselves. You have Karen Winters that has been part of the work and civil rights as well as police accountability for years. You have DeAndre Rudis that has been grounded in the, I would say, grounding work, the work that's done on the ground for the community and bringing people together. You have a former first responder that did not work in those capacities, but bring a certain institutional knowledge that forges all of us to realize the potential. So that being stated, it allows us to meet people such as the police officers that do this work every day, see it from their particular perspective, meet you, the community, to find out exactly what it is you would like to see. For instance, just across the street from MacArthur's yesterday, I'm coming down the street and I see I'm right down the street on Long, and I see all the police activity. Someone had gotten shot. Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I was going to say this later, but I'll say it now. I think it's time for us to have a community policing at a different level. There's so much technology out here. We have Ring cameras. We have a lot of stuff going on in our cars. My husband just bought me a video for it whenever I'm traveling. There's a lot. You never know what you may have captured to help the police officers close a lot of these particular cases that we're complaining about. So the potential of the work, absolutely. If we can get ahead of it, it's a lot of things out here. We can get ahead of some of the things. Come on in, Chief Mitchell. Welcome from the South Side. If we can get ahead of a lot of these particular things, then I got news for you. 15 is already doing great things, but we could definitely help them do something better. That guy walking in the door is trying to figure out what we're doing so he can take it back to his council because he's heard great things about us. I'm done with that. Well, we could help each other, help us, help you, help us. And one thing's for certain is a lot of people like what I say when I say this. Some people get offended when I say it. Pookie, Ray Ray, and Junebug live in somebody's houses, and you know why you can't come outside your house and sit on the porch because my cousin, my nephew, my son is wreaking havoc. Well, you know what? Domestic terrorism is terrorism. It doesn't matter if it's happening on our soil or on our block. And we need to just stop allowing someone to have us live like prisoners. We know who the problem children are. My hubcaps aren't missing anymore because the young man's in jail. I can leave my door open and not worry about a shovel or something as simple as something for them to steal to go get high. And you know who he is too. So that being stated, that's what we can do. We can help each other. It's time out for this nonsense. You know, I'm not trying to make no police officers out of you. We don't have police power. I'm not telling you to confront the bad guy. I'm just trying to tell you use wisdom. Use wisdom and share the information that you have.
Yeah, good enough.
Anybody else? Yes, sir. You're talking about the young man that did the school shooting? Took him to the range and things of that nature. Absolutely. Anyway, we want our kids to grow up, but come on, let them be kids. Let them have their innocence. Protect their innocence. When I look like giving a loaded gun to my 16-year-old grandson, there's other things I can give him to make him more productive than a gun.
Now,
go ahead, sir. I hear him grunt. No, come on, DeAndre, share.
I mean, well, you say your 16-year-old grandson, so I was just saying, like, I believe that, you know, we should be in the range, actually. I don't think there's anything wrong with teaching proper gun safety.
I agree with that. I said give him one.
Oh, okay. I'm like, all right. Well, that's
I'm
all.
talking about giving one.
And they knew he had issues too.
Correct.
I'm just speaking on the thing about responsibility. You know who doing what.
I gotta bring him.
You need to tell the authorities about this person who actually moved, so they can take care of it.
Absolutely. So your comment is to just share the information with the police. Thank you. That's exactly what we were speaking of when you walked there. Anyone else?
I think one of the reasons why we have the public comment portion is so that folks could also, if they're comfortable, share what issues may be going on in or around their block. One of the meetings that we had was fruitful for that.
Yes.
There was some issues with trespassing and prostitution in a particular area. The DCOs went right out the very next day, a couple days later, to do a couple actions so that some of those things could be ceased. So this particular section of the meeting is always useful for that. So if there are any problems you'd like to bring forth, please use this time to do that as well.
Well said.
Okay. So we're going to move now to the approval of minutes from the meeting on the 13th. Carmelita?
Okay, thank you, Council Rudis. So January 13th, 2024, we had our meeting at Urban Essentials at 5300 West Chicago Avenue. We started at 1:13. It was our makeup meeting. And for any of you that were present or not present and did not get the apologies for the meeting that we did not have that Thursday, we apologize to you and thank you for being faithful. The artificial intelligence from BAM.
That was Al.
Is this Al?
Al Stinson.
Okay, well, thank you. I don't know. Al from BAM, sorry. It's forming. There you go. Possibility to take it up a little higher. It's forming an initiative called This Is Our Brain on Guns. In terms of response time, we have to be sure to call 911 instead of 311. That's something that Sergeant Petrosonis found out, that we have a urban myth. We think that calling 311 for something that's happening right now is the answer. It's not. She redirected us and let us know to call 911. 311 is for not an emergency. If something's happening right now, you calling 311, by the time they respond, it's something that is no longer happening. So that's probably why you're not getting the outcome that you're seeking, whether it's theft, car accidents, etc., things of that nature. So we also approved the minutes from 12/12/2003, motion by Councilor Rudis and second by Councilor Earls. The updates is putting together a listening tour so that the community will have a safe space to exercise their voices about public safety and police accountability. Informing the district, which is your opportunity right now in their house, that the newsletter can be viewed 2 weeks after the public meeting. these newsletters that's in front of you right now is something that Brother DeAndre does an outstanding job on. Explain what's the community commission's duties, informing the community that the application was on the website for CCPSA. The nominating committee will select 14 candidates to be submitted to the mayor, and which will be selected the final 7. CCPSA will also have a webinar if you'd like to learn more. You can log on to their website, and it's stated that there was 2 listening tours, one on the 23rd, one on the 30th, with our new police superintendent. I was at one of them, and he was very, very transparent and very patient with some of our cousins. There will be a more in-depth information on how officers are trained. There is a police academy application floating around. I believe Sergeant Brown brought one out. If you're interested in attending that, we'll give you an opportunity to talk about it. So you can understand these questions of what are they learning, things of that nature. You get an opportunity to sit in that seat. It's important for us to show up because this is an opportunity that we never had before. We get to engage with the superintendent to voice some concerns. What he does with the information is up to him, but we at least can be heard. A principal in 15th District down the street here at Oscar Dupree expressed that she has already had 15 children lost to gun violence. Absurd. We need to figure out a provocative way to curb the violence. Officers are responding after the deed is done, but how can we, the community, help to keep it safe proactively? AIM is the accountability improvement methods that Councilor Winters birthed, and we are talking about some initiatives that the district wants to implement. It's an idea that's being worked on for the moment. Listening to some district members who would like officers to engage more by walking the street and getting to know the people. There's a mediation program through COPA. The Center for Conflict Resolution has been constructed by the City of Chicago to do mediations. I've been trying to get some data for the past year to see how the program is going. The mediators only react to large infractions. Just a thought, but if some community members can be trained mediators, like yourself sitting here, and if some has a minor infraction with an officer, the community mediator could sit in and help to resolve that before it goes any further. Officer ride-along for community members. If you're interested in that, you're in the house. Let's talk about it. Roots to Fruits being considered for the next Legacy Award. And that is our minutes for January 13th. Motion to have them adopted.
I motion to pass the minutes from January 10th.
I second.
13th.
Oh, the 13th, January 13th.
January 13th.
Okay.
I second.
It has been motioned to accept the minutes of January 13th and second by Councilor Rudis. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. And the reason the dates were a little ambiguous is because the 10th was the original, it was canceled. The 13th was the remake. So there you go. No need to correct that.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Okay, so now we'll move on to district council member updates, and I will begin. So we're gonna chime in on AIM a little bit later. So Ms. Graham, that's one of the things that, because this is new, there is no infrastructure. We're really trying to figure out what that looks like. And so that's one of the things that we've been trying to do in the 15th district, but it's so many moving parts. So we have to figure those parts out as well. But I do believe that we're going to be one of the first districts to really concretely come up with something where we have that type of engagement with our department.
Yes, yes.
I just believe that to be true. But before I go any further, these 2 updates I want to give, because we are in Black History Month. So I did a little homework, and I just wanted to find out the first African American officers in Chicago. So 1871, first African American officer, Officer James L. Shelton. And they say he broke barriers during a time where he wasn't even allowed to wear a uniform. And now today, 153 years later, we have more than 2,300 African American officers wearing the uniform.
Pretty cool.
Nice.
Yes. And then, so I'm not a feminist, but I am a womanist. So I also want to know who was the first African American woman officer. 1918, Officer Grace Wilson. She served nearly 25 years with the Chicago Police Department.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
What's
bring her
up?
back up for Women's History Month because she has a wonderful story. So I just want to highlight those two Black History Month facts. And so as you all know, each one of us have a distinct role. So Carmelita is our chairperson, DeAndre is our community engagement specialist, and I am our nominator. So, right now we have the interim community commission, and we just had applications out to look for our permanent community commission, and it was looking real scary, so much so that we were telling them if they didn't get some more applicants, like some of us were not gonna vote or interview anybody because it's not enough. We had like 9 up until a couple of days ago, and so we finally got up to 20. Now this might be an old total, but it was 23. 20. This is the last email I got. And so it was up to 23 applicants. 20 of them are complete. I think for the ones that are incomplete, they're going to reach out to them, giving them an opportunity to revise them or get any missing documents in. But I have to say that we've been disappointed because the West Side, we only have 2 applicants.
That sucks.
And so we have to replace the 7. So there'll have to be 2 representatives from the South Side, 2 from the North Side, 2 from the West Side, and then 1 is what they call a citywide person. They can come from anywhere in the city. And so we have to interview these applicants. We have to narrow it down to 14. We have to put those 14 names before the mayor, and the mayor has to pick 7 of those names. If the mayor rejects any of those names, he has to publicly allow us to know why he is not accepting some of the community members that we're putting forth. And inside that body of 7, there has to be 2 attorneys, and they have to be in practice at least 10 years. And there also have to be 2 youth members. The youth members have to be 18 to 24 years old. And so you all know they were just recently responsible for doing our superintendent search. They were responsible for erasing the gang database. They were responsible for the policy on, what do they call it? Not hate groups, but the terrorist groups and I don't know exactly
what is it, like affiliation?
Well, basically, police officers can't be affiliated with whether it's street gangs or the Proud Boys, or we can't have that. So they just did that. So this is how I describe the community commission. They are like the inward facing body, meaning they work along more with the city. So they are also responsible for looking at CPD's budget, making recommendations. They can also make a recommendation to terminate the head of COPA, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. They can recommend the termination for the head of the Chicago Police Board. They can also make a no vote of confidence for the superintendent. So they're a very powerful group, and they have a lot of responsibility in their hands. And then I look at district counselors as the outward facing, meaning we are more engaged with the city, but we still have to work in tandem with one another. So yeah, all of this came through the Empowering Communities for Public Safety Ordinance. And then I want to say that there is what is it? Aggie Hickey. There is I know y'all hear everybody talking about consent decree. How are we going to help the department get in line with the consent decree? Well, there's a hearing. I'm going to give the information to DeAndre because he could put it in our newsletter. But if you want me to text it to you or send it to you, I have my business cards and you can take it and I'll send it to you. But there's a CPD consent decree public status hearing on February 13th. And this is the court will hear from the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois on officer wellness and support. So that's coming up on February 13th. And it's good sometimes sit in these meetings just if you want to know. Sometimes sitting in these meetings, it's a good place to be in to get information. And I think that's all I have.
Copy that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll go next. So again, I'm DeAndre Rudis, the community engagement specialist of the group. Essentially, my job is to work alongside police and community, really build communication and hopefully try to make sure that I connect in such a positive way that, people feel good about public safety and or police accountability with their district council. That said, a couple things that I do and contribute to our group. One, all of our meetings are always taped so that you can go on YouTube and you can find them. Generally, this is the only newsletter that I haven't put a link, but usually there's a link right here where you can just type it in, quick little bit.ly, so it's not that long. You type it in, it'll take you right to the meeting in case you miss it at all. There are 2 surveys. One is a contact us. If people want to be a little bit more anonymous, you can utilize that QR code, comes directly to myself, and I'm able to keep track of any comments that you may have as well as your information without sharing it if you don't want me to. We also have a public safety survey. We would like to track our progress over time to see how we're doing as a district council and how the 15th is responding to the work that we're doing. So both of those things will always be on the newsletter. You can access them via the QR code. We also, so one of the things that I'm working on is a quarterly education session, if you will, to kind of get people understanding certain aspects in policing or even just their rights in general. So to that end, right now, it's still up in the air, but March 16th, that is a Saturday, from 11 to 2, we're looking at hosting the ACLU again. We all know that the DNC will be coming to Chicago. There are specific rules that are going to be around protesting down there. So if folks are looking to protest, the ACLU has a training provided so that they can teach people how to do it properly without getting locked up. So as of right now, March 16th, 11 to 2, that will be at 5730 West Division. Although that is on the side of 25, the 25th District and myself will be collaborating to host that so that folks that want to go down there and do what they want to do can, learn a little bit of what the consequences may be if you get out of line in such a crazy way. That said, we mentioned the listening tours. That is something for residents. If you don't want to come into the meetings and express some of the things that may be going on your block in and around it, you can just call us up and then we'll come directly to your home, do it over the phone. Personally, I would like for us to do it in larger groups where the block can get together. That way we can learn more about each other as well as these roles, but these listening tours are open to anybody. So I would like to get invited. I'm sure my colleagues would like to get invited. So please invite us to the blocks so we can hear what the issues are. The other thing is, so this isn't something that we have to do, but this is something we can do. We can start committees. One of the things we didn't want to do is reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So at some point, because we're still trying to get our footing, we would like to be a part of the DAX Youth Advisory Group as well as the Affinity Group. But in addition, we would like to start a community solutions group. And what that would look like is something similar to kind of what we did with the superintendent, where we bring all the different bodies that should be at the table. So the faith-based, business, elected, whomever needs to be at the table, and strategize outcomes for particular community issues that are happening. We've done this with the NPI program with the DCOs, and I think that would be something that we should also look to utilize as the DCOs have a little bit more flexibility and problem-solving ability with what they do in their role. So if you all would like to be a part of something like that, please let me know. The other thing is we're creating a resource list. So things like the noise ordinance, which came up on one of the blocks that we did a peace circle on, as well as the trespass affidavit that came from one of the meetings that we hosted, is in a database that we are collecting. Alongside those things, we are also keeping track of the places that we're having meetings and things like that, so that folks could also know what's in and around our community. We have a ton of resources that are sometimes underutilized. The last piece that I will mention is to continue to further our relationship building. One of the things we did last year was a roll call. We wanted to establish those quarterly, so we'll get with the commander and figure out when we can have the next roll call. We just do those so that we can introduce ourselves and some of the things that we're trying to do for the community. And then the other thing is the ride along piece. Myself and Carmelita, we still have to fill out our document. Array is completed, and so we'd like to also do ride along so we can see, what the actuality of the job is without making any decisions that aren't informed. And so with that, that is all of the updates that I have for you.
Okay. My update as chair will basically let you know that I've partnered with the Black Fire Brigade, and the Black Fire Brigade are looking for your young people. The young people will have an opportunity to learn fire safety, CPR, and EMT certifications. When they leave that program, they will be hired. So on your sign-in sheet, if you actually put a BFB beside it, I will text you that information, that particular flyer, text you how to get in contact with them. And not only that, we now is going to offer coming to your establishment and teaching CPR. How many people here, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but actually know CPR? That's sweet. But for those of you that do not, something traumatic happens in your community, and we're just sitting there waiting for 911, the first responders to arrive. You could keep someone alive, and not just traumatic, but say something happens in the house and someone's not breathing. You will be the difference between their survival and not. So that being stated, this is something that the Black Fire Brigade is willing to come out and do. The South Side is killing the enrollment. I want the West Side to be the competition as well, because you know what, this is a great job. I just retired from the fire department, 32 years. That guy retired after 30-something years, and I tell anybody it was one of the best mistakes I made, because I wasn't supposed to fill that application out, and it's an opportunity that no one should pass up. So that being stated, this is us paying it forward. We're set for the rest of our lives. So we want to make sure that our young people get exposed to a good mistake. So a lot of folks say, I don't want to be running in no burning building. Well, excuse me, then we don't run in burning buildings, we walk. And we read the building to find out which ones that we can get into and which ones we can't. Risk management. And that's the way we should operate with life. Risk management. Risk a lot to save a lot. Risk nothing to save nothing. Or risk a little to save a little. Our community is worth saving, yes?
Yes.
So let's get to work.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, thank you. And so now we're going to move into our discussion portion. I've already given the progress on the Community Commission apps. Yesterday was the last day, so we have a window to do our reviewing the applications and all that good stuff. I'm sure they'll be highlighting it on the news periodically. But the next thing on there is AIM. So AIM is what we're calling accountability improvement methods, because one of the things that we're supposed to do as district counselors is create initiatives. And actually some of the things that Deandra is lifting up is initiatives, but these were things that we discussed openly with the community last month. So they were presented with like 8 kind of concepts, and we asked them to kind of hone in on the top 3. And the top 3 were one was beat engagement, and this where they're saying they want officers out of cars and engaging with community members. And the next one was the community mediation program. And then the third one was something that we call Mindful Mondays. But this is, I say we're going to put a pin in it, because this is really going to take a lot more work than what I thought. So, but we're also being very thoughtful about whatever this is that we're introducing. Because after this, I had an opportunity. So I kind of have my own advisory team. So I'm in communication with a few law enforcement officers, with a civil rights attorney, and with someone who, Marcia Thompson Esquire, who introduced the mediation program to Mayor Lightfoot's administration. And she was so I've been getting pointers and things. So yeah, we still working and building, but I think we'll be able to, work inside of these things somewhere. But one of the things about the community mediation program right now is housed under COPA through the Center for Conflict Resolution. But I had a conversation with someone from the city, and they said that it's no longer going to be with the Center for Conflict Resolution, that it is going to be housed inside of COPA. So they're transitioning, but I was still talking about how to bring it down to the community level, because to my understanding, that's the way it was supposed to have been initially, that community members were supposed to have been trained to facilitate the mediations, meaning that the way it was set up now, like, community members have to go downtown. Most of the mediators are not living in our communities, are not of our persuasion. And, I just don't think that was conducive for, us as residents. And so they're doing some shifts to make some changes. So we're still thinking about that. But one of the things that was offered up is that we really have to look at restorative justice practices, as well as peace circles, as well as solidarity circles, which are racial healing circles, to put them in that vein. And then even for the Mindful Mondays, which we're looking at, we're also thinking about officer wellness. But one of the things that one of the young men lifted up in our last meeting when we talked about this Mindful Monday, he said it shouldn't just be for officers, it should be for everyone in the community, because we're talking about trauma. And a lot of us are experiencing trauma, whether it's directly or whether it's indirectly in this community, whether we're hearing gunshots all times of night, or screams, or we're riding down the street and we're witnessing, just mayhem. We're experiencing it. And so the Mindful Mondays piece was something where we said we wanted officers to check in on Mondays with the clergy or a commander. But what, in one of my conversations, what someone offered up was that it should be something that we do in collaboration with one another. Like we just found out there is a yoga center in Austin, and they were saying maybe talk to the person at the yoga center and maybe have like a Monday night a month, and community members and officers that are willing meet there, and we do a mediation, a meditation together, or something like that in community, in unison with one another. So some good things are coming out of what we have proposed thus far. But yeah, it's still a matter of how we deal with it on our side, and then how the department deals with it on their side, because again, this is all new. All I know is by year 4,
Man.
15. No, I'm just saying we're gonna get there. I was saying it's gonna take us. It's gonna take us a little longer than what we thought. That's all I'm saying. But by before I give us a good year before we really have something like implemented and working very well, because 15 is off to a very good start. So that's all I have now for AIM. Maybe DeAndre in the next newsletter could just share some bullet points about it. Yeah, but that's it for AIM. We'll keep progressing on that. And then, you want to introduce Amanda? DeAndre, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
So right now we'll move to then our next section of the agenda, which is to introduce Commander Morse. So obviously Commander Morse is the 6th. You said the 6th. The 6th commander. Basically.
Look at that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Not 6. Probably more like 16. And then go back when Austin was.
And 16 like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
For what I'm
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Everybody here, show up. If you guys show up first, show up. I'm gonna make this short because I want you to like it. First of all, I'm gonna go around and give everybody a fist bump. I'm gonna tell you why. I like to show respect, and I like to give respect. Okay? Remember, you guys did an awesome job for me You guys did an awesome job for me before I even got here. You know what y'all did? What y'all been doing over the past 6 years? Y'all don't know what y'all been doing. Come on.
Lowering
Somebody
crime
give me a
rates.
What y'all been doing over the past 6 years?
Lowering crime rates.
Before I was here, before they was here.
Working
It's
together.
you.
Yeah.
Community,
Yep.
right? My vision is not a bunch of different bodies and commanders, hats and guns and officers. It's community. As the next commander comes here, you guys are waiting on right there. Like my wife's gonna be waiting on me when I go home tonight. Wait a minute. Okay. Let's talk about some data. Homicide. We're down 33%. Give it up. Give it up. Shooting. We're down 50%.
Okay.
And why is it this high? Shooting victims were down 50% last year's time. Burglaries were down 27% last year this time. What year is that? Y'all gotta forgive my cheaters because I'm getting old. I need to be We're down 28%
Oh, that's good.
last year this time. We are up in robbery. And that's citywide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer your question, what can we do? Keep doing what we're doing. Give us support. Call 911. Let us know what's going on. The purpose of our DCOs, and I'd like to introduce everybody here to Officer Booth. Okay? They go out on our shot fire call, and they knock on doors, and they canvass, and they get to know the community. Right? There's a lot of talk about ShotSpotter. Are we going to keep it? Is it good? Is it bad? Let me tell you something. ShotSpotter is saving lives. It's saving lives. Okay? Don't listen to the news media and the hype. Look at the reality. When we hear a gunshot, we're able to know where it's coming from before somebody calls the police. And a lot of times we're able to put a camera on it before somebody calls the police. We're able to send out an officer to that location before somebody what? It's perfect, but nothing is. Right? Okay? Shots on what? Completely. So there comes across your eyes for you to make a decision about it.
Crash our car,
Okay.
and then
I don't care what the media says, and I don't care what all the says, and racist stuff is nonsense. Because we got our young men and women getting gunned down every day. 700, 600, 500, whatever the number it is across the past year. Right? Maybe they could benefit. But most importantly, it's the person that's not killed that we don't see. Right? It's the prevention. And that's what our officers are doing. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern, black, white, can't strike. They're all out there doing the best they can for the community. You know why? Because this is awesome community. The awesome community.
Right.
We're not part of the community. We are the community. We are you and you are us. Okay? And without you, there's no community. There's no place without you. Without the community. Now, I'm just going to a few more things here. Talk about crime conditions, how crime is down. So when you hear all the naysayers, just realize there's legitimate progress happening here and it's happening every day. And it's testament to the men and women that put on the uniform and they go out there and it's testament to you, the community. Please, don't let anybody get in the way of that. That was here long before me, and it's going to be here long after. Okay? The next thing, Community Academy, is an outstanding way to understand what Chicago police do every day. Not just the stressors that they may go through involving certain situations, but it's a way to understand different areas of the department, different units, different sections, why they do what they do. So please, get involved. It's an awesome way to understand. And the last thing is community engagement. One thing about the Austin Community 15th District, we've got a long history here of engaging with the community. I have an open door policy. That man right there, Sergeant Brown, is a rock star. You all know us, okay? He goes above and beyond, and that's a pun intended, above and beyond the call of duty, right? In order to make this safe to make it what it is. We know we have some of our young men and women that are led astray, and
Yeah.
But Sergeant Brown, Sergeant White Rowan, our SDSC room, our tactical office, our DCOs, our men and women every day riding around the beat who don't get enough credit, they're doing everything they can in order to make this the best. And you know the evidence of that? Last year, we were the second to the lowest in overall CompStat crime. Give it up! Come on, man! Give it up!
Tier 1 district.
Lord, there are a lot of those roadside districts, and they said we couldn't do it in Austin, but we did, and we continue to. We're going to stay together, we're going to move forward, and we're going to do the best we can. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'll make sure so you like.
Thank you.
And then can I just I just want to say one thing before we bring our community organization up. So, and this might have been about a year ago. Well, in last year, because all this conversation was coming up around ShotSpotter, and I reached out to some of the organizers, some of the ones that were involved in a lawsuit. This is after we started our DC work, because I talked to Commander Parham when he was here about the ShotSpotter, and he gave us, some information. And so I was curious, and I reached out to them, and I said, "Would you all?" I said, "I don't feel like the community knows enough to make an informed decision."
Yeah.
I say, "So would you all come out to the?" I said, "The commander is willing to have the conversation." I said, "Would you all come out and share with the community why you all feel that we should get rid of the technology?" And so what they said to me was they didn't want to be in the room, with the police officers, with the department. And so at that time, I told the commander, and the commander says, "Well, we don't have to be in the room." He said, "I can get someone from the company to come out." And I think an African American young man started ShotSpotter. But he said we can have someone from the, and I said, "Okay, fine." I got back with them, and they still didn't want to do that. And I said to them, I said, "Well, I don't want to have two meetings. I said, I want to have one meeting. I said, the community members can hear from both sides, and then let them, because what I feel like sometimes people are projecting things onto us for whatever reason they're doing it. But they sending me an email now, like, "Ray, we'll sign this letter. We want to send this to the bear to get rid of ShotSpotter." I said, "I'm not signing it because, again, I don't know enough, right? I don't know enough to make an informed decision. So I can't sign it." And we were going back and forth, and I'm like, "I said what I said, like, I'm not signing it." So
Standing on business.
ShotSpotter doesn't have anything. All ShotSpotter does is a GPS geocoded alert that says gunshot on the and it lets us know where it's at. And it lets us know how many shots fired. That's it. It doesn't say this person called the police. It doesn't. There's no doesn't put into anybody's house. Like there's no X-rays or any kind of lasers or any kind of it goes straight me down. No, it's just to say, hey, this is going on right now.
Yeah.
I like to get it done.
Hello.
I like to do something about the people.
Thank you. Yeah. 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 And what they
Don't say why. But there may be forces who don't want to say why. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know I like it.
Yeah.
That's our mission in public safety.
Yeah.
Section of life.
Because what they said to me was, when I told them, I said, "Well, I said, it's sad, but it's true, and this is real for me." I said, "I hear gunshots almost every single day, and I don't always call the police because one, I don't know where they're coming from. Two, I'm trying to distinguish: is that a gunshot? Is that a firework?" I say, so it's out there, and I say, I know I'm not the only one. And someone said, "Because you're relying on ShotSpotter." I said, I don't even know where it is. I'm just telling you what my reality is. I hear it, and I don't call the police. Somebody could be laying out there hurt. So if this technology can, and so it's not perfect, nothing is perfect, but if this technology can save someone's life or get to someone, then
There's a lot of actually a lot. There's a number of issues with what they pick up. The reason I know is that I look down at our crime prevention center, and software algorithm had a sensor that would pick up backfire from that would pick up jackhammering from.
Yeah, we just.
So consequently, you got a lot more false alerts. But it's not as if when you got that false alert, it created safety. No, it's an investigation. Why they say they want construction. That's it. And still today it's not perfect, but it's gotten a world better than it was. If the city gets rid of shot spotter, in my opinion, my professional opinion as commander, so you're gonna go next. But I want to talk. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk too much, but I'm passionate about shot spotter because it's that helps us engage more effectively with the community, and that's our role. When you're not going to listen to me, man, you put a shot. We're letting the community know that it's not right. We're trying to gather evidence. Like you talked earlier, he's specially trained in gathering video evidence, and that's outstanding. Like you said, it's a tool. What's a way for us to engage in the community? Right. Our philosophy about Chicago police is that every police officer, community police, everyone, not just Sergeant Brown and this, but everyone, and we all are. You know why? Because this minor action that you have with me is going to give you an opinion about a police officer. You don't say that dang commander, he's no good. I asked him if he acts like he can be bothered. Oh, I'm gonna sit back there and roll with it. Because I believe it. And it's an awesome tool. So that's it. We're talking about me a little bit. You get some skills.
Let's go with the brother first.
Well, I was just wondering, shot spotter knows about how many cameras in those areas engage to be able, so they can have.
Shot spotter, not cameras. It's a sensor. So it hears it, right? And then it lets us know what it is. Now, we all know the city of Chicago has cameras, wherever they are. There's a lot of cameras attached to what exactly they are. The shot spotters are not attached to cameras. Those cameras are here. Years before we got shot spotters, we had pod cameras around. Lights on, capable box. Sometimes they were black, sometimes they were white. So they're two separate.
So that's one of my. Even saying that, it seems like if we got shots in the area, all systems should engage on here. There's shots right down in the corner, and all of the different things that the city has, but the street cameras, but the stoplight things should be engaged in trying to help. Okay, somebody got shot, cars are shooting up and down. You know that the numbers, you know what kind of car it is, other than waiting on maybe some resident to come out and say, well, we saw some cars come out. They can leave the dirt because all they get shot.
Excellent point. So that's why we have our SDSC, Strategic Decision Support Center, where we have officers, live people doing that exact engagement. They're able to hear the shot spotter, operate the camera, give potential evidence, get on the radio, let other districts know that your engagement you have after your engagement.
Elder?
I'm going to shot spotter just like yesterday. On my way home, I got my shot spotter is a siren. So my siren on my phone went off, and it was shots being fired. You know, I looked back at the address, damn, that's by my house. So I had to slow down. So when I got there, it started like coming in from Central all the way up to Lotus. So I went around the block to the single squad car, and then I came back, and then I read it again, and all my neighbor was outside. Did you get a shot spotter alert? Like, yeah, I got it 5 blocks away. So it comes on your phone too.
You know, that's a great point. I just want to say one thing. I was told I was in a room with the dynamic of why shot spotter can work for you or not. Brother DeAndre just said that sometimes we ignore our car alarms going on because of the consistency and the frequency of things. We hear shots so much, we're like, good Lord, we have become numb to it. So imagine this. If a shot spotter incident happens and for whatever reasons, the police officers are already tired up somewhere else. If you don't call, then the urgency of that could be possibly misconstrued. Make sense? Say shot spotter jumps off, someone hears it, and all of a sudden 911 is inundated with a bunch of phone calls. Well, the probability of that being legitimate is very high. Say shot spotter happened and we're like, shoot, here we go again. And you never pick up your phone. the probability of that being responded to is somewhat low. And to your particular question, okay, Commander, some of the crooks are very, very intelligent. I don't know why we don't employ them. So if we were to actually redirect all of the cameras to where ShotSpotter is happening, that could be a diversion for them to make sure that what they really want to do is not captured. So we have this is what this is all about. We come together. God is too wise to put it all in one person's head. And we come and we get together and we collaborate about what could happen. And if you come up with the answer of that, I want to be just the person to carry your bags because you're going to be a millionaire when you finally figure out exactly what happens here. So please understand, I'm not a pro or con against ShotSpotter, but what I do understand is logic. And what we have done is become a little just too complacent with what's happening in our community. Whether it's a sound, a dog barking, or a paper in the middle of the street. Take ownership for it. Do whatever's necessary. I don't know what he's doing behind me, but take ownership for whatever's necessary, and let's change our communities because I've got news for you. I'm sick of it, and I don't have to retire and go somewhere. The Lord, my family is here. Why should I have to leave? Let's push these people that don't want a quality of life out. Just that simple. Yes, sir.
I just want to say that all shots fired are assigned to the police and officers involved. So for us, we're all the police. We're one to everybody. There's no or we're never going to go.
Awesome.
All right, y'all. So we are going to move forward in the discussion, and now we're going to bring up our organization, which is Opioid Task Force, to talk a little bit about the work that they do for the community.
Can you say?
Oh, yeah, whichever. Yeah, I don't know. No, it doesn't matter.
By LaShawn Ford, and they met at the Warehouse Council. Representative Ford felt like the community that the Westside Task Force was not engaged in the issue of opioids. So he then partnered with Provision Partnership to be the coordinating agency of the Westside Opioid Task Force in 2002. And with that, the Provision Partnership took over the Westside Opioid Task Force. What they realized is that a key piece of activity was missing. Realized that you needed to go into the community, table in the community where overdoses were happening, where people were selling drugs, or people were missing. And so that's what we do. We go into the community where people are using drugs, right? And we teach overdose education and distributing our cannabis.
Nice.
Right? That is our task. The second part of our job is that we convene about 50 agencies that work with people who use drugs or are in treatment and recovery. And with those 50 agencies, such as Family Guidance, Threshold, Hope, Rush, we help them to understand the West Side. We help them to make sure they understand the West Side is highly relational, and they have to show up, like Tamandra said, and do something in order to be effective on the West Side. The West Side has the majority of African American men, right? And the opioid crisis has affected Black men between the ages of 45 and 65 the most. Mm-hmm. Black men between the ages of 45 and 65 are dying of opioid overdose more than any other group in the city of Chicago. Mm. So that's the reason why we have to convene those agencies so that they can work better with people who use drugs, especially African American men, to tell them how to provide better treatment and service support. And then the last piece of our work which we did in the past couple of years, was we were trying to engage the West Side in the question of having what's called an overdose prevention. An overdose prevention site has been around since the 70s. It first started out in a church. They went into a church basement, and the people were allowed to use the drugs they bought off the street, and they were medically supervised in Sweden. So this is in 1970 in a church basement. So this is not a new idea, but it's a new idea to this country because our country has decided instead of looking at health substance use disorder as a health care order or a health care crisis, we decided to see it as a way to criminalize. That's based in racism and based in slavery. When they decided to look at opioids, marijuana, cocaine, they decided, hey, instead of treating this as a medical issue, we're going to treat it as a criminalization issue so that we can recriminalize folks. We can start taking away rights and responsibilities from them. That is what our country is. And so now we're trying to get it back to where it is a healthcare issue and not an issue of criminalization. And so the overdose prevention site would be a site where people who would obtain their drugs on the street would come in and be supervised while they use their drugs. But also part of that would be services around them, such as if they needed housing, if they needed mental health care, if they needed food or a shower or just the basics, they would have all those services provided for them. However, that is a tough conversation to have with us as people of the West Side, people of God, because we see sometimes as though if we do that, we are condoning drug usage, right? And it's really not condoning drug usage. People are using drugs. They've been using drugs at the beginning of time. It is just a way for them to use drugs safely so that they can stay alive. So that was one of the projects we were engaged in, but because there was still conversation that needs to be had on it, and still, like, somebody once, when I talked about it, they were like, they're just trying to experiment on us. I'm like, no, it started in the 1970s in Switzerland. Like, no, like, there's no experiment on it. But doing it in New York, so there's a drug overdose prevention site in New York. And hopefully we will come around in a couple of years to have our own overdose prevention site. But until the meantime, we are here to teach about overdose education to prevent overdoses, as well as distributing Narcan. So I have my team here. We have Melody, who's always here. She tells me, and now that you're always here, you gotta hear everybody Narcan. We got Bill, right? We got Keith. And they're gonna give you a demonstration on how to identify overdose. And then one how to and then also start the groundwork and issue to us regarding our young people and overdoses. Where the drug supply is highly toxic. It's basically fentanyl. And we had to now work with our school system because our school system is reluctant to let us in because whatever is happening in the school system, to teach the young people and to distribute Narcan and help them identify overdoses. So I hope you as a community here, we will talk to Austin Academy, you know, to get into the doors to help our young people at least know how to identify an overdose, and then they can have Narcan when someone overdoses. Because if we're not together as a community, paying to that principal and to the administration there, they could keep us out of that school system. And we know we need to be in there because we have been contacted by Sergeant Brown, we've been contacted by West Suburban, somebody else contacted us about this situation with overdoses of young people. And we can only do so much. It's us as a community getting together and maybe going over there and saying, hey, we want to save our babies' lives. Can you get us in there and so that we can do the work that we need to do? So now
didn't have to work for that. You said, it's a team of it. You got boots on it. That's you. I thought you were out of And the reason why some of us, like me and my friend Kennedy, I didn't come to like this yet. This is just something I believe in getting back.
Nice.
You can't stop us from getting out.
That's right. Yeah.
And we work from Walker Anderson, Austin, down to Survey, over to Western. There's 3 teams, 2 in the morning. There's a team out here now. It's 8 o'clock at night. This is what we do 6 days a week. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna be a victim, and he's gonna say my life, and he's gonna tell you how. So y'all want to get over here?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, if you wanna. Yeah. Most people won't be sitting in chairs. Yeah.
That's a great thing, but we don't mind them in a chair.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, right. It's not out there. Teaching people how to use our hands correctly and put them in detox, methadone. We teach them what to do. So he's gonna tell y'all about the signs of overdose, and I'm gonna be his victim when he says, "Right, victim." You know you'll come.
Anyone's ever witnessed a person after those, signs?
Not the ones that know.
But it's not. Oh, that way you get everyone else. I usually roll it in the back of their head. People are really died, really small. Yeah, breathing is labored. Person is they're like this. Because what we ask you to do, you know what the person has or is having those signs or symptoms, call 911 first, right? The dispatch may ask you the person needs a drug. Now, first thing you tell the person, no, I don't know, right? They're not breathing, they're not responding. You probably say that, they'll up the response, right? Because you only have minutes as far as the person being out of it for a long time. So, while waiting for them to come, what you can do is you could do what's called sternum. Anyone rub their 4 fingers?
Ball of your fist and turn your knuckles toward right.
That feel? It doesn't feel great, though. I mean,
You gotta get up in there. Yeah,
so if a person is not too far gone and come right out, then what are you doing? Then turn around this person's neck. Right? If they don't come out, then you're administered time. How this works, take it out of the package, serve it to the nostril. If the person is sitting up, just to get it back, hold one of the nostrils down, straight. Right. Now, it's only one thing to go. Once you spray it, it's locked. So you give the individual after giving them the first dose, they come out after the first dose, in those 2 minutes, you don't need to give them the second. After 2 minutes, they're still unconscious, you take the second dose, second nostril, first. They should bring them out with the violent pain and fentanyl that they have. it may take more. If you have more than I can, fine. You had we saved quite a few lives during the week. We had to use a total of 4 for the individual product. Come back. So if they come out at the second dose, great. But we suggest to you if they come out after the second dose, possibly stay with the individual until EMS arrives, because the person can, after Narcan only lasts 90 minutes, and if they don't receive medical attention within those 90 minutes, they can go back to critical. Now, this is what I can demonstrate. Oh my goodness, somebody. Sweetheart, you okay? This. Hello? 911? This is a young lady that passed out. I don't know if she's on drugs or not breathing. Can you send someone? You know where I'm located, right? Okay. This. Now, you would take the hard decision. Like the wrong moment. Anyone know why
That's on Corolla.
What a recovery position. Thank you, medical professional. The reason why we suggest a person to do this in the event that they vomit, that the airways are clear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, I'm gonna be hard. So, with her laying down, what have to do? Lift the head, certain Narcan, spray. Give one dose, still out. Now, the minute is gone by. Second dose, second nostril, spray. She's still out.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Yeah, that's how it goes. That is how it goes. Better step back.
And that's the reason why. Sometimes the individuals wake up or come to a threat. Like she said, it's about $10. Some are more competitive. What's the word I'm looking for? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
You guys have any questions for us? Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, I think about alternative responses to police and so. Then,
I'm trying to sit down, whatever.
so just I'm thinking about that way police.
That's been the issue in our community.
That's what I was thinking.
That we've not gotten a proper response to 911. I'm not trained to know all of these something, and I appreciate y'all and respect y'all. But that was the first thing I thought about. What the hell is 911 about
Yeah.
May I say that by law, we are a Class A rated fire department. And we have to respond within 3 minutes from the 911 call. Even if an ambulance is not in close proximity, that's why you get a fire engine, which has a certified fire paramedic on it, or a fire truck, so that the same type of intercession or intermediate medical attention is being given. We can do the same thing that the ambulance does, we just cannot transport. So good question, where are they? That's why the activation of the 911 center is key, because they can look at the little dots and find out where everyone is and send you what's needed. And the reason you get, of course, we have 4 fire engines, 99 fire engines, and 58 trucks. We have more engines and trucks than we do ambulances, and they run all night. So that's one way that you can understand that the intersection is on the run, and we're coming. So I can attest to that.
But also, they have a, actually, they have a, they would know for a lot of
Mm.
That's why we tell them, don't know.
Those areas. Yeah, it's
Sometimes when they don't bring up this, then we have to do what is called agitation.
Yes, yes.
We can do it at the OPS side. Where you actually start
Stimulating here.
they can hear you, the fact is you can start.
Mm.
Start come around and talk to them till they get there. They become pretty faster. Once you stay, they're gonna ask you, are you have drugs? Because they know where the spot. I don't know. They do though. Like take just let me get a breathing. That's how you don't have to have market, but it does help. That's why.
Question down here, sir.
A lot of pedestrians in the way line. And I think we have critical issues.
My brother.
I just want to say that one of the things that I volunteer in a lot of things, but we have to take a more aggressive stance in terms of what people do. You know, the knowledge that's being sold to our children is worthless. You know, and a lot of the health resources are worthless in the sense that, for instance, I just say, take CERT. CERT is the emergency response.
Mm-hmm.
It was taught by the fire department in Colorado. I'm pretty certain that's probably who does it here. But it changed my life just in terms of it's small things that'll save a person's life in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get done teaching you, you won't have that fear.
Yes, yes.
You know, it's like when that shooting went down on Kedzie, I was walking right into it, right? And my response wasn't so much to get out of the way. You know, you had kids and you had people out there, and they teach you how to go about those things. You know, not necessarily doing what they do, but something as simple as CPR, something as simple as how to really, the difference between putting out a gas fire versus a grease fire and those kind of things. That instant,
Like
that few hours that you take with them will be able to save a life. I just say that to say that we have to get back to exchanging knowledge. We got to get rid of the gatekeepers.
Yes, yes.
There's people out here in real estate. You should be giving it to our babies for free. Put them in the game.
Yes, yes.
Because if we put ourselves in the game, then we don't have to beg nobody for nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, I've never seen a bully stop bullying you because you asked him not to. You know, and I'm just, I mean, disrespectful to anyone, but once we help, we really have to help each other. Like, we really have to, hey man, I got something to help you. You got something to help me. I might not have the money right up front, but let's have that intellectual exchange. And once I'm in, we can run our own support. We can create our own infrastructure just by doing it.
I like that. I like that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
They don't even know they have a fault. Everybody in this room is allowed to have their intercession.
Yeah.
Everybody that's all for it.
Outstanding. Yes, ma'am.
And I just wanted to add on behalf of the task force, don't be afraid to use it. Because in the event that someone is having a heart attack or a stroke or some other kind of medical issue, the dark hair will not harm. If a child gets a hold of it, it only responds to opioid.
I say somebody like put a lot of cold, like ice, like in
Yeah.
the hands and chest and stuff like that. Is that like
Yeah, and you're just trying to get the person back
Stimulate
breathing. And what happens is the opioid suppresses breathing. It slows your breathing down, and that's how you end up dying because you basically are not. And so when you can shock, agitate, get them moving, that means respiratory lungs and everything. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for such a lively discussion. Thank.
I do want to say this. I work very hard. I was in the since 2019, started work on the corner, and till September 2023. Different. 2,500 folks called back and said they had to start on. And 2,300 folks that come and say,
March 14th.
to save their lives. So we actually get feedback from the people that we get an argument to about how they use our hands and that it saved their lives. Some that told us that on treatment and recovery, some that it's just been a lifesaver. So it works, and we have stories. We have over 5,000 stories about how our hands saved their lives. So, yeah.
What if you have an overdose and you stop breathing?
Have overdose and stop.
No, I think somebody got told they stop breathing, they just fall out their mouth.
It won't affect that. It won't affect that. It only blocks if that overdose.
Got it.
All right, they handed out a bunch of cards. We're gonna move on to our next one. We don't want to keep you too long, but we're so glad that this is engaged, and you guys make sure you see one of them. The conversation doesn't end just because we're going to stop it. DeAndre?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you all again for the presentation. Appreciate. First time we had role play in one of our meetings, so thank you. That said, so the 15th district established 2 awards, if you will, to really recognize community members and police officers that have made a difference in this public safety realm that we operate in. And so I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Diane Graham, and I am going to, Diana, I apologize, read directly from the Austin Weekly News because they did a really great article that captured what Diana Graham is all about. Miss Graham is all about. I apologize once again. And I'll be quick with it. I'm gonna jump around, so I'm fairly good with like sticking stuff together. So, Miss Diana Graham is a resident of the Austin community since 1969, and at 80 years old, the only thing she's saying is I'm still out here.
All right.
Right? So Ms. Graham's organizing path began with working with mayors, volunteering to register voters, and attending local meetings. From there, she says the impetus to get involved was the extent of the drug problem in Austin. That's what made a lot of us get involved, so our kids don't get harmed, she says. I wanted to get connected with the movement to come up with a solution to save our city because drugs come in from everywhere. As more young people became involved in the gangs and drug activity in the neighborhood, Ms. Graham wanted to be a part of the movement to make the community better. She says neighbors will be resistant to coming together to combat the issues because they are afraid of the gangs and they know you're afraid of them. But I'm not afraid of them, never been. So Ms. Graham became the president of her block club, the Lotus Neighbors for Action, 20 years ago. She says her goal was to make her block completely drug-free and that she has achieved that goal. To keep local youth engaged and away from high-risk activities, she applies for grants and comes up with activities every summer. In June, she organized a trip for the neighborhood youth to go to the Wisconsin Dells, and she has also chartered a bus down to Navy Pier. She says, I wanted to come up with activities to get them off the block and see there's another world out there. Ms. Graham regularly attends her CAPS meetings and works with the 15th District Police Department to come up with solutions. She often volunteers at the station's Hip Hop Tuesdays event, and this is where local youth come to do after-school activities, including doing homework, playing basketball, and computers, and generally stay safe. She also works to provide seminars that offer training for after-school or summer jobs, and on her block, she hosts community or resource fairs for the youth. She will hand out snacks, waters, brochures for different community organizations and jobs opportunities, and she will answer anything the teenagers ask about. She also works with My Block, My Hood, My City, a nonprofit that works to build cross-city connections and mentor youth from under-resourced neighborhoods through educational programs and field trips. She says, I want the young generation to be able to learn who your neighbors are. Conversate with your neighbors. Get together more than once a month so you're aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. You've got to keep the block clubs going. Ms. Graham says her dream is for the neighborhood is for the 100 churches, 100 block clubs where faith and community leaders work together with the youth to build more connections across Austin. She says, if every community had 200 strong organizations like that, imagine what we could be. Ms. Graham encourages young people to show up at meetings and be more involved. Her message for Austin as a whole, just be persistent and stay engaged. She says, I want to tell my community, the whole community, don't stop fighting, don't give up. Never say never. Whoever would have thought that my block would be drug free? So all that is Ms. Diana Graham. And so
So we present Ms. Diana Graham with the Living Legacy Award. You have no idea what your legacy will be because your legacy is every life you've touched, and those are words by Maya Angelou. So this certificate of appreciation and grateful recognition for your community service and dedication, we hereby present Diana Graham with the Living Legacy Award. You want to? Yeah, you want to say anything?
I want to thank everybody, the district council, 15th district. I've had the pleasure of over 30-some years working with Danny Davis. All the, three mayors trying to come up with a solution to save our community and save our children. Talk about the drugs. I'm from a drug family. My mom was a drug addict and a drug killer. My mother went to penitentiary when I was 11 years old. Her mother died when I was 16 and I became the head of household in my house. No one never came to get us. 5 of us when I was old. We graduated out of high school without a mother or father. I stayed in that house and I just sold that house in 2006. It's a house that we purchased in 1940. So it's like you can do anything you want to be. You can't use your parents and whatever they did in their time and their day. That don't make you who you are.
That's right. That's right.
No one ever came to get us. Now I'm talking about 11 years old, 12 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old, and I was 16. The kids used to say, "How you stay in that house?" I never told nobody that my grandma ever died. It's something that you make up in your mind that you want to do. When I got out of high school, I went to college for 2 years and got pregnant. The gentleman that I got pregnant by was a drug addict. Again, back in the drugs again. And believe it or not, my daughter got to be 18 years old. She became a drug addict. So it's like I was surrounded by it, man. I couldn't get away from my daughter be 58 years old on Mother's Day. And I'm still fighting. So I understand the fight. I appreciate what you're doing. And I tell everybody, if you can save a life, save a life. My goal, when I came up with the idea for 100 churches, 100 block clubs right here in this room, I wanted to see 100 block clubs come together with 100 churches. Let these churches come out and help us.
Yes.
Why are you on my block?
It's not
And now you can help me. Why are you on? I don't want to see people coming from Southside to your church and I got people right here on the block that don't even invite me. So how's we gonna help each other? We gotta find a way to help each other. Nobody wanna do it, so I stood up. I'll be 81 years old in 2 more weeks. Thank God. I'm gonna keep on fighting, y'all. I'm gonna keep on fighting. The guy, I'll tell you this story. A guy just told me the other day, he said, "Ground, you gotta be careful out here. You're gonna get hurt. You guys got guns." I said, "Baby, let me tell you something. Everybody got it." Not going to be scared because you got a gun. Same little kid I used to get money to go to school with, money for bus cards, anything you want done on computer, I was there. Now explain to you, are you serious? You understand? Like I told her, baby, you come at me, I'm coming at you. I'm coming at you, Commander, you understand? I'm gonna blow you away from here. I'm gonna sit right down on the ground with my hands behind my back. And when you tell me, when the judge tell me you got life, I only do maybe 10 years.
Yeah, you might as well before you come on inside.
I got it? One more. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Miss Brown.
Okay, so we have one more board, because normally we do one every month, but last month we didn't do our above and beyond because we dedicated the whole piece to AIM. So this next award is what we call we do the Living Legacy Award for a community member, but we also do what we call an above and beyond award for one of our officers in the 15th district. And before I forget, I have to remember that someone has to start giving us names of officers, because someone told me we've only been giving them to CAPS officers. They said we need to do beat officers, tactical officers. So we want to be fair. So if you all can recommend some names to us, we would greatly appreciate that. But this award is going to Sergeant Edgar Brown. Sergeant Edgar Brown is an experienced law enforcement professional with over 15 years tenure with the Chicago Police Department. Sergeant Edgar currently serves as the 15th District Community Policing Sergeant when he develops community-based strategies involving law enforcement and nonprofit community organizations. Edgar proudly serves the city of Chicago not only as a frontline first responder, but also as an advocate for community empowerment. Edgar lives by the philosophy to give to others, which is at the heart of the programs and services that he implements that positively impact the lives of Chicagoans. This focus aligns with the goals of community policing to employ social justice to bridge relationships between police and the community as a violence prevention strategy, addressing issues of access, equity, rights, and participation that has yielded positive results in both reducing violence and improving the quality of life for residents in some of the city's most troubled neighborhoods, and especially in Austin, where Edgar has primarily served. Edgar is a proud Memphis, Tennessee native and a graduate. Y'all didn't know that? He's from Chicago. Well, you know, everybody on the west side from some part of Mississippi or down south. He's a proud member from Memphis, Tennessee, a native and graduate of Lemoyne Owen College, HBCU. He is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc., and serves as assistant basketball coach at Kennedy High School. On behalf of the 15th District, we present to you this Above and Beyond Award. It's at the heart of the leader manifest through service to others. This certificate of appreciation and grateful recognition of your continuing services and support hereby presented to Sergeant Edgar Brown, 15th District, with this certificate of recognition for services, leadership, and courage. on behalf of the 15th District Council on this day of February 8th, 2020.
Not a big award person. I like just doing the work. I don't like a lot of attention. I'm nothing without my crew, my staff, my office. I never take the credit because you gotta have a good team. You gotta have a good heart in order to achieve what I've seen happen in Austin. I always thought that what we created Austin can be done all over the city.
Yeah.
That's how we were. That's how when I first walked in that council office, I was told to create things that can be duplicated in other parts of the neighborhood. So that being said, thank you, Commander Morris, for letting me continue to run and be aggressive. I appreciate that. Thank you for the energy you bring because your energy inspires me to keep going. Community Austin, thank you for supporting us. Even when others don't think so, I know you have our back and everybody has the goodwill of the people. My mom, dad always said, let's close out with this. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you all so much. Yeah, that's how we get down out here in 15. Yes. So let me see. What happened? Oh, so we don't have anything to vote on.
No.
We don't have any votes.
No.
So the next announcement for our March meeting, it's March 14th. We don't have our destination, our location yet because of 15. Some districts keep their meetings at the same location, but we really try to move around because we're 4 wards and we try to move our meetings around, and that way we are also exposing ourselves to different people. So we don't have a location yet, but we should have it within the next week. But I just want to say we plan for our March meeting to be dedicated to youth. So we're really going to be trying to work with youth groups in the Austin area to get them to come out. Because they need to learn about this work as well because it impacts them. And we definitely want them to think about, building better relationships with law enforcement. Because I want y'all to know something about our young people. Do y'all know that some of our young people are out here knowing that somebody is after them and they won't tell nobody? I mean, knowing that someone, I don't know what, it's not called bounty, but they know when they have a price on their head, when somebody, even if it's retaliatory, they know these things and they won't even tell anybody. That's why I always tell young people, have at least one adult in your life that you can trust, that you can tell any and everything to. So a lot of these babies out here get hurt and harmed and have an opportunity to say something, and for whatever reason, they won't say it. But that's also the more reason why they need to build relationships, whether it's with law enforcement or mentors or someone. They have to have those relationships. So that's our next meeting. I don't know if we've been through anything
Before
else.
we go through the motion, I just want to highlight 2 things. Number 1, Brother Isaiah Brooks, stand up, please.
Oh, Isaiah.
Isaiah is our new addition to our family. He's been with us for about 4 or 5 months now, and he's doing an outstanding job administratively. So we don't normally say much about him, but today is Black History Month. This is a black man that's getting this stuff done. Secondly, AJ, raise your hand. That guy down there is one of the instructors for the Black Fire Brigade. So I'm not going to give he's also my husband. I'm not going to give his information to him, but he's the one that's going to text you the information. If you put BFB on that sign-in sheet, you will have it before you leave. And if not, see that guy right there. So that being stated, all minds clear. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Isaiah.
So I just want to ask everybody that's here, if you at the next meeting, just try to bring one young person.
I say
Yes.
yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to break it.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
You know what? Likewise. So, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I motion to adjourn the meeting.
A second.
It has been motioned by Councilor Rudis and second by Councilor Winters to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Stop it. Ayes have it. Thank you for coming.